this lesson, I want to talk a little bit more about sponsored product ads and give you a little bit of an overview of manual versus automatic targeting. So we'll go into our advertising. We'll click on sponsored products. We'll hold off naming it and stuff right now. So I want to talk a little bit about automatic targeting versus manual targeting. So with automatic targeting, these are very easy campaigns to set up because you don't have to choose which keywords or which pages you want to display your products on. Instead, Amazon's going to automatically choose it for you. So as you can imagine, the backend behind Amazon is very sophisticated. They have a pretty good idea of what kind of product you're selling based off of what keywords you use, maybe even some image recognition. They understand what category that you're in. And through all that, they have an understanding of what types of keywords customers would search for and then purchase your product. And after you've had some sales, the system gets smarter and smarter because they can see what types of keywords people are searching for and then end up purchasing your product. All that being said, automatic campaigns are a great way to get started and get set up because you also get some good data from it, like which keywords your customers are searching for. But at the end of the day, you'll be able to optimize your campaigns further if you have more granular targeting. So speaking of that, let's talk about the next one, which is manual targeting. Now, manual campaigns are a little bit more advanced. They take a little bit more work to set up. In these, you're going to choose whether or not you want to target certain keywords or target certain products, which is really products or categories or brands. The top one's the most common, is what most people use, but we'll talk a little bit about product targeting as well. So if you've chosen manual and you choose to target keywords, you're then going to enter a list of keywords. I'll first select just one of my products. It has to be, this one's an inactive listing, so it has to at least be an active listing. Let's just choose this for fun. So Amazon's going to show you a bunch of keywords that they think are relevant for your particular product. And sometimes those work to just click add all, but I prefer to upload my own list like we did when we searched in the Keyword Scout in the last lesson. So I can paste that whole list in here. Now there's three different match types you'll see here. There's broad, there's phrase, and there's exact. And let me grab one keyword to use as an example for this. All right, I'm going to use yard sign stakes for this particular example. All right, so you can hover over this and you see broad, it says contains all keywords in any order and includes plurals, variations, and related keywords. Phrase, the exact phrase or the sequence of the keywords, and exact is exactly matches it. All right, so let's start with broad. So if I had selected broad right here, if a customer types in yard sign stakes, that would be fine. If they typed in yard signs stakes, I don't know why they would, but that would be fine. If they typed in yard plastic sign stakes, that would be fine. And any combination of this, so stakes for yard sign, that would also show your broad match. All right. With phrase match, the three keywords have to be in there and they have to be in this order. So if they typed in plastic yard sign stakes, that would be fine. If they did yard sign stakes for grass, that would be fine. But for this one, if they did yard plastic sign stakes, phrase match would not show. So if I just had phrase, it would not show for that particular one, okay? So it has to include all of the keywords and they have to be in that particular order. And with this, it's also, as it says right here, I guess it doesn't say it, but it's also fine for it to be plurals or stemmings. The last one's exact match, and with exact match, they cannot include any other keywords. Again, plurals or stemmings are fine, but if you did, plastic yard sign stake, it would not show. It has to just be those three keywords in that particular order. All right, so those are the three different match types. When we're setting up our bids, we're going to be using all three of these different match types. And I'll talk to you guys about that in a little bit more depth when we do an example of actually setting one of these up. So now that you understand the automatic targeting as well as the manual targeting, manual targeting for keywords, let's take a look at the product targeting. So for this one, it's a little bit different. You know, there are no longer a spot for me to enter a list of keywords. Instead, I have the ability to select categories or to select individual products. So since the product I chose was this baby towel, those are the types of products that it's showing me. But I could either go through here, these would be all my competitors, and I could select the certain ones that I want to target. Alternatively, I could upload a list of ASINs of the different ones that I want to target, or I could paste it in here. So when I'm doing product targeting, the method that typically works best is targeting products that are either priced higher than you and or get worse reviews than you, and ideally both. Because as you can imagine, if a customer is on a listing and it's higher priced with worse reviews, signaling worse quality, and they see yours that's at a lower price with better reviews, it's likely they would click on that and ultimately lead to a purchase. You wouldn't really want to show it on listings that are priced better and or have better reviews, especially if they have both of those because it's unlikely that a customer who had found that product is going to ultimately end up purchasing your product. So that's the way you can do it with individual products. With categories, it's a little bit different. You could search which type of category you want in here. So since we're doing this, I'll just do baby towel. And you can see there's a few different categories that may work for me. So bathroom towels, it's like, okay, I could probably do that. Bath towel sheets, no, not likely. Bath towel sets, sure. None of those really. Kids bath towels, for sure. I would definitely want to do that one. And I could go through and see if there's any other that I feel like are relevant for my particular product. We'll not get into the bids quite yet because we'll do that during our example. And then there's this area down here, negative product targeting, which we don't need to get into in too much depth. But essentially, if you had chosen, for example, a few different categories and you wanted to make sure not to show it on a certain brand page or a certain product page, maybe because that's another company of yours that you don't want to compete with, or for whatever reason, you can do that down here. So that's the gist of the different types of sponsored product campaigns. If you remember, we went over a few different types in here, right? From the big picture, there's either the automatic campaigns or the manual campaigns. The automatic campaigns are very easy. You pretty much just select automatically show this wherever you want Amazon, and here's my bid. And they'll try their best to show it in certain areas where people are going to purchase your product. And then with the manual campaigns, it's a little bit more sophisticated, right? You could either target the keywords or that other area that lets you target things like brands or products or categories. When you target keywords, there's a few different match types that we spoke about, like broad match, phrase match, and exact match. And at this point, this all might be starting to feel a little bit complicated for you, but don't worry. Sponsored products is definitely the most sophisticated or most robust or complicated part of Amazon PPC. But once we start going over some examples and I show you how I go about setting this up myself, it starts to become a lot more easy. So don't be overwhelmed if you are. You can always download the acronym sheet that we put together as well to help you through this. And in the next lesson, I'll show you guys how I go about setting up my automatic campaigns.